James Sackett stood in the wheelhouse of the Rowena, steering into the twilight, alert to the slightest alteration in the river's mood or appearance. The sonorous music drifting up from the grand salon below made him slightly melancholy. It was his birthday. Only he didn't know how old he was. Over 30, he guessed. The sun lines framing his eyes bespoke a good many years, but on a good day were chased away by a boyish smile. He supposed age didn't really matter if the soul was eternal, as Silas Ballantyne claimed. "Sackett, sir?" At the sound of his name, he glanced down. A lean shadow strode across the Texas deck and began a slow climb to the pilot house. The lead engineer appeared in the doorway, expression smug. "The Molly Dent is chasing us. Feel like a bit of racing?" "Not with the cargo I'm carrying." "The Kentucky Ballantynes, you mean? The ones making all that racket in the salon?" James nearly smiled. "It's a wee bit sweeter than your yammering." "Sweeter to look at, you mean?" With a wink, Perry fished a flask from his pocket and took a sip. "I've never heard such violin playing." "Nor have I." "Miss Ballantyne is the talk of the entire ship. Did you know Ansel had a daughter?" James fixed his eye on the flag flying from the jackstaff. "Nope." He'd returned to Pittsburgh soon after Ansel's marriage to begin his pilot's apprenticeship and lost track of him. Ansel's subsequent homecoming was hazy and had likely been secretive, given the danger. "Makes me wonder what else he's hiding." "I like surprises." Perry chuckled at the blatant falsehood. "She has the look of a wood nymph, if you ask me, all sun-browned and wild-eyed. Not like a Ballantyne." "She takes after her mother's people, the Nancarrows in England." "Does she now? I suppose you'd know more about that than anyone." James gave a slight shrug, eyes on the far wooded bank. "That was a long time ago." Taking out a handkerchief, Perry buffed a brass lever. "I wonder what she thinks of her namesake. None finer than the Rowena, though that brag boat is sure to trump her if Bennett Ballantyne has his way." At the mention, James wanted to spit over the railing. The polished walnut wheel grew damp beneath his grip. "Brag boat?" "Floating circus is more like it. Word along the levee is that Bennett is determined to have it, and you as pilot." Setting his jaw, James put an end to the conversation. "I'm going to call for the lead." At the boat's deep, throaty whistle, the violin music stilled. By the time the second engineer called, "Mark 4," or 4 fathoms, the salon had emptied, and Captain Dean and guests had emerged onto the hurricane roof. "No bottom," came the welcome call, confirming the river beneath them was more than 24 feet deep. At this rate, they'd see Pittsburgh by dawn. James took his eyes off the water just as Miss Ballantyne emerged from the salon onto the polished promenade below. In the glimmer of moonrise, her blue dress was silvered. She'd removed the bonnet she'd worn when boarding, rewarding James with an unhindered look. Somehow she seemed out of place, a fragile wildflower in a stifling hothouse. The poignancy of her expression reached out to him like a woman drowning. "Home," she seemed to say. "I want to go home." He understood. It had been his heart's cry over the years. Pittsburgh was home.